Well, today it is win or go home for the U.S. men's soccer team when they face Iran at the World Cup.
A draw or a loss in today's matchup will eliminate the Americans from the tournament. It would be an early and disappointing exit, to say the least. Correspondent Philip Crowther live now in Qatar with a preview of today's match. Thanks for being back with us. Listen, this stage in the tournament where it's win or go home is always exciting, critical, but there is an extraordinary backdrop to this match. International politics very much on that field today as well. Walk us through.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And when you look at the questions that the U.S. coach Greg Berhalter and the U.S. team captain Tyler Adams were asked in their press conferences before this game, those questions were not about soccer on the field. They were about the politics. They were about other things completely different to the tactics that might be used on the field. For example, Greg Berhalter was asked about military and naval exercises. The captain, Tyler Adams, did particularly well when he was scolded, first of all, by an Iranian state TV journalist about how he was pronouncing Iran. He pronounced it Iran, and then he was asked about gun violence and racial tensions in the United States. The U.S. coach, Portuguese man Carlos Queiroz, he spoke also at his press conference about racial tensions and gun violence in the United States. So these are not the kinds of things that you expect to see the coaches talk about just before a game. It has now been 24 years since the last time that these two teams faced each other in a World Cup. That was in 1998 in France, in Lyon, and it was politically fraught then as well. But it felt different, because if you look back at those scenes, they are quite extraordinary. The Iranian players handing flowers to the U.S. teams, the U.S. team members handing pennants to the Iranians. A joint team photo was taken there as well. We do not expect there to be any signs like those on the field later tonight here in Qatar. At least we've not heard of any. But we will, though, take a very close look at what the Iranian team does during the national anthem. For example, you might remember, prior to its defeat to England, a 6-2 defeat, they did not sing the national anthem, most likely a sign of solidarity with protesters in Iran right now and against a violent crackdown against protesters there. In the second game, they did sing the national anthem, but seemed to be reluctant to do so. And then outside of the stadium, well, we've seen some flags that have been taken away by the authorities, anti-regime flags, if you will, previous Iranian flags from previous regimes. It is particularly politically fraught, this game.
And Philip, you've been in touch with some U.S. fans. How have they experienced the World Cup so far?
Well, look, first of all, they've had a great time. This is the first time in World Cup history that a tournament like this one is being held in one city only, meaning it's very easy to get to these games. Transport is easy. You don't have to take a plane to go to see your team. So all the U.S. fans are right here in Doha or in the surrounding towns, everything very, very close together. And they are constantly communicating with each other. What should they wear to the game? Are we wearing white or blue tonight? What kind of songs should we sing? Where is their accommodation? How can I get a ticket? And maybe most importantly and most frequent of all, where is a good bar where I can watch these games and get my hands on some beer? These are very important questions here because, of course, remember that alcohol is not being sold at the stadiums themselves, and it's not widely available here in Doha. It's a very good atmosphere among the fans generally here of all nations. That's what's so great about a World Cup. They come together from all corners of the world, and there are no tensions in the streets. There haven't been so far. But there is tension, of course, when it comes to the actual game between the U.S. men's national team and Iran, because, as you mentioned already, this is a must-win team for a must-win game for the United States. Win it, they go through to the second round. Draw or lose, and they are out and going home early.
And again, politically, this is all about women's rights in Iran after a high-profile death there by that country's morality police. And the U.S. Soccer Federation took down a part of the flag, and that upset them. Then they backtracked. There's a lot going on here. But leave that on the shelf just for a second, just in 20 seconds or so. Just as a soccer game, let's just breathe. As a soccer game, how do these two teams stack up against each other? What are the odds makers saying this morning?
Well, look, I just about say that the U.S. team should be the favorite going into this game. They've had 2 draws so far. Iran has shown 2 completely different faces, a big 6-2 defeat to England, but then a last-minute, last-gasp victory against Wales. England, the United States should be able to win this game and get through to the second round. That's essentially how things stand here. And the fans and the team, they do sound optimistic going into this one, but it is going to be very, very tense indeed.
All right, correspondent Philip Crowther reporting live there on the ground in Qatar. Thanks so much. We will be watching beer in hand later today. Thank you, sir. Hope you will too.